Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Ben 42 podcast, and we're going to talk about round 24. We're getting close to finals. Beav, you getting excited?
Yep, 2 more weeks left of the regular season. 8 teams going home for golf and home detention in Sydney, and then the final start. So yeah, looking forward to it. So it should be a good series. Don't quite know who's going to win it yet.
No, I agree. I think it will be a good final series. And before we get to that, though, there's a bit of stuff going on with the boys. And so Curtis Scott has been sacked from the Raiders. Adam Elliott's been stood down for the rest of the year. And your boy George Burgess has signed with you as apparently caused some dramas. What is going on with these bad boys?
Well, Curtis Scott, geez, he's got a rap sheet that's pretty long, doesn't he? Right? So even though technically he's never been guilty of an offence or something like that, whatever it was put forward as, right? So he doesn't have a criminal conviction, I think it was. Yeah, look, I mean, clearly him and Adam Elliott have that same issue, and that's with the piss. And George Burgess, well, hopefully he wasn't drunk because it was a road rage incident, right? So I'm not really sure on the George Burgess thing. I'm not sure why it's really news. He doesn't play for the club. He's not contracted until next year. But Curtis Scott and I was going to say Matthew Elliott, Adam Elliott. Yeah, look, Curtis Scott's an interesting one, right? So would you be interested in taking Curtis Scott into your team? Right? Because I did a look last night.
No, I'm going to say no.
I reckon there's at least half the sides in the competition who would be interested in taking him. I'd take him. All right. So, football wise, I mean, the guy has got grub qualities, but can he bounce back from it? Right? How many chances is enough?
Yeah, that's the key.
But I think he'll find another club.
There's a big chance of it. And realistically, I don't think Adam Elliott is going to lose his gig at the Dogs because they are struggling. He's one of their better players. But he's a repeat offender for the same offence, kissing in the toilet. But Curtis Scott to me is he's just a bad egg, and I don't believe any club is really going to be interested in, because to be fair, he's not that good.
A couple of years ago, he was looked at as a state of origin centre. So I think he could be.
Yeah, perhaps. I still think if Zach Lomax can't get picked in the Origin team, then Curtis Scott's no chance. So
yeah, sure.
But
I think he'll find a club. Adam Elliott, what is he doing? I mean, you don't take a chick into the toilets just to kiss her.
That's right. It's another drunken incident.
Yeah. So anyway.
Bring
on the CCTV.
The good thing is his sponsor owns pubs. So I think
correct.
Perfect.
Correct. Maybe they'll have a separate set of toilets. The fucking toilets, right? So which Adam can use in future.
Elliott cubicle.
There you go. Yeah.
Used for everybody at Laundy hotels. Good luck to you, Laundy. I'll be making sure I splash Laundy across there. So anyway, the other news of the week has been about the expansion team in Queensland, and we've got the Redcliffe Dolphins, we've got the East Firebirds, and we've got the Ipswich Jets. I think the Ipswich Jets have got the red pen through them. It's down to 2 now, from my opinion.
Yeah, I think they're gone. They don't have the cash. They don't have the money behind them. So yeah, it's going to be. Look, I think it'd be good if they did introduce another team, because Brisbane's just had it too easy. The Broncos have had it too easy for too long with control of that entire market. Yeah, look, both of them are rich, so can't go wrong with that. They've all got Wayne Bennett as their coach, which is interesting, right? He's got 3 contracts already. Yeah, look, I mean, hopefully, they take, from my perspective, they take Redcliffe, right, and they search further north, right, that sunny coast area, right. Look to break into that area.
Yeah.
That's what I'd do.
To be honest, it's hard to disagree with that. And I think the hesitation has all been around that second Brisbane team that got introduced. I don't know, we're talking 20 years ago, the Crushers.
Crushers.
Super unsuccessful.
Yeah, but it was bad timing, right? It was bad timing with Super League War happened basically 2 years after, right?
True.
You know, so could they have been successful? Absolutely. There would have been a series of kids who have got 20 years of Crushers being Crushers fans, right? They've now got kids who then become Crushers fans, right? So, you know, so I think it will work, right? And you know, look, as you know from being in Brisbane, you either love them or you hate them, right? And I think it'd be great to have a game in Brisbane or in that area every weekend, right? You know, so so yeah, let's see. The only thing I don't like is the bye, right? So I would have liked them to have gone with two teams, right? So maybe you know, I wouldn't do it in 2023. I'd delay it to 2024. But you know, maybe they really should look a bit harder for a second team.
Couldn't agree more. And you got to believe that the pay TV guys are all about that two-team expansion because zero benefit in one, still only 8 games every week, makes no difference to their revenue. So money is. So anyway, speaking of money, Munster and Bennett all looking at the new franchises. We know Bennett's tied to all three. Munster tied to all three, or is he only tied to one?
Who knows? I mean, I think Munster's just signalling, yeah. I'd be willing to go back there. So then, you know, he's trying to get the Storm to up an offer so that they can keep him with the Storm for life. I mean, I don't see why they would want to let him go. And you know, they're a super successful club, right, Melbourne, and got a great culture and got a great group that you would expect that for the next 5+ years with that group, they're going to be competing for titles. Do you really want to go and play for an expansion club, you know, surrounded by Q Cup players, right, to make a little bit more coin when you already, well, I mean, he must be earning close to $1 million a year now anyway, right? You know, so, you know, so I just don't see the value in it.
Yeah, agreed. And look, reality is Melbourne are probably banking on him staying because Cooper John ain't no number 6. Then we move on to just a good news story for me, which is the regional Queensland games where Rocky finally got their game and Toowoomba Clydesdales got to show their, I don't know, hairy hooves.
Yeah. Look, two good regional centres, right? You know, so there's a lot of people who travel down from Toowoomba for the Broncos games, right? So you know, I think it's nice to go to those sorts of locations. Rocky's a bit further out, right? So it's great that they were able to get games played in those locations. And how good was it to see the boys setting up the scaffold so they could have the best seats, looking at watching the game, right? So got the esky up there. It was just fantastic sort of thing. I think we should look at from your balcony so we can watch the games at Suncorp.
That's exactly right, mate. And let's hope that the liquor licensing didn't crack down on them for having beers in an unlicensed area. But so, mate, round 24, mate, it's getting down to crunch time. And this first game of the round is probably one of the biggest. Knights and the Titans. Huge game for the top 8, and the Titans just have to win it.
Yeah, they do. Knights were not very good last week. Titans were good, just outclassed by a really good team, Melbourne team. The Knights missing both their front rowers, well, 2 front rowers, right, in Daniel Saifidi and Clemmer, I think are both big outs. And I think that will impact, you know, that depth on their bench will be a big factor. So Tits make a change. Your boy Peachy comes into 5'8" instead of your boy Taylor, right? So 2 guys you hate. But look, I think that the Titans will win this. They've got a bit more to play for, and the Knights are basically set, right? So I know that they can drop out, but realistically, I don't think they will, right? So I think the Tits will win this one. Tits to win this one by 6.
Yeah, look, I'm hoping that's true. And you're right, Clemmer's out, Frizzell's back. It's a pretty good in for the night.
He's a good in.
Yeah, and look, Taylor out is just not even a loss for the Titans. Fafita back to the bench. I think that gives him a spur because he's a lazy fucker. And I got Titans by 12 because you're right. I think the Knights are safe and they may not be that competitive this week. But yeah, fingers crossed Titans get home. Next game is early game Friday is Warriors and Raiders. It's probably another big top 8 game.
Yeah, it is a big game. Technically, the Warriors can still make it, although you got to think that after last week they're long odds. So, look, I think Canberra have just got a bit more to play for, and that's why I think that they'll get this win. So I've got the Raiders winning this one by 8 points, but I'm not really all that confident. I think the Raiders are a team that are just playing out the season. They're not really, they don't think that they can win it, right? I think a lot of them are just waiting for the season to be finished. So, but they've just got that bit more to play for. So Raiders to win it for me.
And look, I think the Raiders are probably the better team, but they're all dramas this week, and the impact that has and the knock-on effect to some of the other players, like Hodgson being on NRL 360, I don't know. I just think that's going to just knock him around again. I think that's a benefit for the Titans. So I've gone Warriors to win by 6. So if that happens, then the Titans can lose to the Knights. Sweet. Second game Friday is Roosters and Bunnies. Now, typically this would be just a classic blockbuster, but really Roosters just aren't up to the same level at the moment.
Yeah, you look through the Roosters lineup, they're just missing too many players, and I think South will give it to them. So I'm surprised that Jared Waerea-Hargreaves is named this week after last week's, when it looked like he did his knee against the Dragons, right? I was so surprised he stayed out there. That was like, he looked like he was in so much pain, right? So, but he's obviously a weak prick and wasn't really injured. So I'm going to back South to win this one pretty easily. South to win it by 24.
Yeah. Look, the Roosters can't keep being second man up forever. Like second man up turns into who's fucking on the footpath. But the Bunnies are really only just warming up as well. So I got the Bunnies by 13. And good luck, Roosters, because I think it's a downward slide. Now, big game for you boys. Dragons, Cowboys, your last chance to make the 8, mate.
Yeah, well, we're not going to make the 8. But interesting side selected this week, right? So Josh Maguire, the international hooker, has been moved back to the front row. Jaden Sullivan to start at 9. So he's a skinny kid, right? So he's not built for to be tackling all day. So it'd be interesting to see what we end up doing. Look, who the hell knows? Cowboys get Tamalolo back, which is a big in for them. But I'm going to back the Dragons. So the Dragons will win this one in a close one by 4.5.
Cowboys by 6. Good on you, Mark.
Okay.
Henry playing the Broncos, Sharks and Broncos, both coming off wins. Interesting.
Yeah, both shit teams, both coming off wins. Really don't care about this game at all, but unfortunately it's it's the second game of Saturday, so I have to watch it before watching the third game. Look, who's going to win this one? Look, I'm so off the Sharks. I'm going to back the Broncos to win this one in an upset. right? So Broncos will win this one by 6 points.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more. I think Broncos are finding form, and I got them by 8. And it's another game that's going to help the Titans make the 8. So, look, I am cheering the Broncos for the first time in 20 years. Final game of Saturday is Storm and the Eels. And if you had to pick this at the start of the season as a game, I would have loved to have watched it. But honestly, this is just a nothing game now.
Well, yeah, you got to think that, look, the Eels got a bit more confidence last week, but they come up against, the cream of the crop this week, right? So I think they're going to get, face planted, and Storm will win this one pretty easy, right? So I've got the Storm winning it by 18.
Good. And I'm putting a little bit of a litmus test here, because the Storm beat the Titans by 14. So I'm cheering the Storm to win by 14 against the Eels, who are a top 6 team. So anyway, my focus is always the Titans. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
All right, so we move on to Sunday, and holy moly, Manly v the Dogs, and Turbo is back. But my question, why the hell are you playing him? Seriously.
Well, look, I reckon he's okay. The other fullback that they had is suspended, and obviously he's healthy, right? So I don't think they take a chance on him. Not against the Dogs. They didn't play him last week against Canberra, who are a much better team than the Dogs, right? So he must be okay, because otherwise you would play Garrick at fullback and you put Moses Suli on, which is still a chance, right? So that could still happen, and they rest him again. But even if they do rest him, are they good enough to beat the Dogs? Yeah, hell yeah, right? So the difference, if Turbo plays, they'll win by 20. If Turbo doesn't play, they'll win by 8.
Yeah. And I guess that's my point. Like, why risk anything happening to the guy that makes your team different? But anyway, I got Manly winning by 18 because the Dogs, I cheered them on last week, but didn't happen. So, and then we go into the final game of the round, Panthers and the Tigers, and really interesting to see Brian Toto back for the Panthers.
Yeah, well, I mean, they need to get these guys back in a couple of games under their belt before the finals, right? So they're trying to build that bit of belief, and he's obviously, he makes a huge number of meters, right? So it's very important in bringing that ball back out for the Panthers. That said, who do they play this week? Tigers, right? So just horrible, just a horrible team. So Panthers will win this one very easily. So the only thing I don't like about that is that smug prick Cleary will be, smiling and blowing kisses at people, right? But look, the Panthers just too classy, and the Tigers got no heart. So Panthers will win this one by 22.
Where are they playing this game? Do you know?
Redcliffe.
Right. So at least he's not in front of the Tigers fans blowing those kisses. So, and really sad news that Adam Dewey's out for the Tigers for the rest of the season. He's been the only good player for that team.
Correct. I mean, he is the only guy in that team who you would say, you would look at him and he'd basically make any other team in the comp. Yeah. So, he's a good player, very good player. And he's the only guy who had that bit of heart, who was trying to make things happen for that team. So, Tigers, back to the drawing board. Yeah,
good luck. I hope you have another better season with Wild West. I got Panthers by 18 as well. So, all right, mate, look, massive round this week, but reality is that 7th and 8th position is not sealed based on any of these games. So it's going to be a great round next week. So anyway, mate, thanks for your feedback, and we'll talk about that great round next week.
All right, take care. All right, enjoy the footy.